Hello there, boxing fans around the world. Thank you once again for joining me on Talk and Fight as I give you all the news fit to print, courtesy of our good friends over at Boxing 247. First off, let me tell you about a result from the past weekend out of Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh junior lightweight Matt Sweetchild Conway, the reigning IBA Intercontinental Junior Lightweight Champion, notched his 20th career victory this past Saturday at Murrayville's Madness non-title main event against the dangerous Colombian puncher Rodolfo El Tsunami Puente, who's now 28-2 with 16 knockouts. The fight was presented by Gianta Management and was held at the Sport Zone Arena in Murrysville, Pennsylvania. According to promoter Derek Gianta, he says, "This is our first time promoting at the venue, and things went really well overall. We will come back here, hopefully in the near future. This is our third show this year at two different venues, and it's great to remain consistent despite the difficult times we encountered earlier this year in regard to the pandemic. The plan is to keep moving forward and building up these guys." He says, there were a number of intriguing fights. Matt Conway had a monumental victory for his 20th win as a professional. He will come back on January 15th in a big fight on our show in Cheswick, Pennsylvania. Conway, who's 22 with 9 knockouts, as I said, positioned himself for an IBA world title fight in January, which Gianta will promote at the Pittsburgh Shrine Center in Cheswick, Pennsylvania. And good luck. Right on, moving along throughout the United States. Let's have a quick look here. As part of Showtime's 20th anniversary season of Showbox, the new generation, this Friday, September 24th, Salida Promotions will return to one of the most unique fight venues in the United States, outdoors in the city of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. That's in their Arts and Entertainment District for a live triple-header broadcast featuring 6 prospects boasting combined records of, check this, 72, 2, and 1. Set in the middle of the scenic city's town square in the 10-round bantamweight main event bout, 26-year-old Detroit native Jericho O'Quinn, who's 14-0-1 with 8 knockouts, will face California's 24-year-old Saul Sanchez, who's 16-1 with 9 knockouts. The co-main event will pit undefeated featherweight prospects Javon Garnett, who's 10-0 with 5 knockouts, and Luis Reinaldo Nunez, who's 11-0 with 8 knockouts, against each other in a 10-round bout. And in the opener, Alejandro Guerrero, who's 12-1 with 9 knockouts, faces the undefeated Otoole Irano-Sayan, who's 9-0 with 6 knockouts in an 8-round super featherweight contest. Pretty cool. This event will be Salida Promotions' second attempt to stage a fight at the outdoor boxing hotbed. In August 2019, a Salida event featured undefeated Uzbek Shonjahan Iskashev. It had to be moved to the nearby confines of Central Park community due to rain, though. "I am thrilled," says Broken Arrow Mayor Deborah Wimpy. "I am thrilled that Showtime selected Broken Arrow for these boxing matches during Showbox's 20th anniversary. I can't think of a better place to showcase these amazing athletes than right here in the beautiful and award-winning Rose District. The atmosphere on Main Street is going to be like nothing we've seen before, and I'm excited that a global audience will get to see what we, Broken Arrowans, have known all along. The Rose District and our citizens are second to none when it comes to celebrating the arts and entertainment." Good for them, absolutely. In other news, this time out of Massachusetts on the East Coast, New England, Irish amateur star Thomas Otoole will make his long-anticipated professional debut this Friday night on the Friday Night at Mosley's on the Charles II card at Mosley's on the Charles, located in a Boston suburb in Dedham, Massachusetts. Vertex Promotions, which will promote Fight Night on the Charles II on Friday night, September 24th, also presents Fight Night on the Charles at Mosley's 3, as well as USA Boxing Sanctioned Amateur Card 2021 New England Championships Saturday afternoon, all at Mosley's on the Charles. The 23-year-old Otoole captured top honors at the 2019 Irish Elite Championships, Last year, the Irish Southpaw upset pre-tournament favorite Tony Brown in the semifinals of the Irish Elite Championships, and he lost by split decision in the final to Emmett Brennan, who represented Ireland in Tokyo at the Olympics. Otoole this time is matched against veteran Francisco Ariro Neto, who's 1-14, but that one victory was a knockout, in a 4-round bout, and it's following in the footsteps of Irish boxers who've traveled to the Boston area as a base for their professional careers, including WBO World Super Middleweight Champion Stevie Celtic Warrior Collins, who was 36-3 with 21 knockouts, who was fighting from 1986 to 1997. WBA World Lightweight Title Challenger Sean Manny, who's 42-14-1, 13 knockouts, and he fought from 1979 to 1993. And heavyweight Kevin, the Clones Colossus McBride, who was 35-10-1 with 29 knockouts, and he fought from 1992 to 2011, and is best known as the man who knocked out Iron Mike Tyson into retirement. "I can't wait," said an excited Otoole about his pro debut. "I've been training all during the COVID pandemic, and I've stepped it up the last 3 months. I've heard back from friends and family that there's a lot of talk about me coming over, so I'm going to make sure my name is mentioned with the likes of Collins, McBride, and Mannion. The kid is going to bring fireworks." Undefeated ABF American West and NBA Continental Champion, 23-year-old Albany, New York welterweight Ray J. the Destroyer Bermudez, who's 13-0 with 10 knockouts, headlines Friday's show in the 8-round lightweight match versus Uganda native Philip the Hunter Adayaka, who's 7-15 with 4 knockouts, and fighting out of St. Paul, Minnesota. For all the information on that card, please go to the Boxing 247 website. It's very extensive. In other news, this time out of Las Vegas, we see that Edgar Berlanga is going toe-to-toe against Marcelo Esteban Cocheres. Brooklyn's newest young knockout prodigy and former unified world champion from Philadelphia will see action Saturday, October 9th, and we all know that's a special date, at T-Mobile Arena in preliminary bouts before the highly anticipated heavyweight trilogy grudge match between WBC and lineal heavyweight world champion Tyson the Gypsy King Fury and former heavyweight world champion Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. Edgar, the chosen one, Berlanga, will fight former world title challenger Marcelo Esteban El Terrible Cocheres in a scheduled 10-round showdown for the vacant NABO super middleweight belt. At the same time, Julian J-Rock Williams will face Mexico's Vladimir Hernandez in a 10-round junior middleweight bout in his first fight since losing his title belts. Berlanga Cocheres and Williams Hernandez will be televised live on ESPN2, ESPN Deportes, FS1, and Fox Deportes, and simulcast on ESPN Plus. Right, that is going to be one heck of a day, let me tell you. The all heavyweight Fury versus Wilder, also on all those sports channels. Bonanza begins at 9 p.m. and features 2016 Nigerian Olympian, the one and only F.A. Ajaba, squaring on his fellow unbeaten Frank the Cuban Flash in a 10-round co-main event. The highly anticipated 12-round rematch between Robert the Nordic Nightmare Hellenius and Adam Babyface Kawanaki, and the 8-round pay-per-view opener featuring 21 sensation Jared the Real Big Baby Anderson versus Russian veteran Vladimir Tereshkin. That's going to be a great night of fighting. Absolutely looking forward to it on October 9th. Elsewhere in America and back in Las Vegas, we see now some news versus with respect to the Canelo Alvarez versus Caleb Plant fight. Boxing's consensus #1 pound-for-pound fighter, Mexican superstar and unified WBA, WBC, WBO super middleweight world champion Canelo Alvarez will face undefeated IBF super middleweight world champion Caleb Sweet Hands Plant in a historic showdown on Saturday, November 6th, live on Showtime pay-per-view at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, and a PBC event. That's Premier Boxing Champions event. Canelo, a 4-division world champion, will look to capture undisputed status for the first time in his Hall of Fame caliber career as he returns to Showtime where he made his pay-per-view main event debut in September 2013. The unbeaten and supremely talented Plant attempts to earn a career-defining victory and keep his perfect record intact as he makes his fourth world title defense. The winner of the November 6th bout will stamp his name in the history books as the first undisputed 168-pound world champion of the four-belt era. And I quote Tom Brown, the president of TGB Promotions, "This is the most highly anticipated fight of the year, and rightfully so." Might be disputed, but anyway. Canelo Alvarez has proven to be one of the best boxers in the sport today, and he is seeking to become the first ever undisputed super middleweight champion. And Caleb Brown, who is a skilled technician in the ring and extremely confident in his abilities, wants to make history and not become a footnote. Both men will bring fire and determination into the ring, and the eyes of the sports world will be focused on the action at the MGM Grand on the evening of November 6th, without a doubt. But as I said, that comes after the October 9th fight. Speaking of up-and-coming big fights, we see Anthony Joshua and Alexander Usyk going toe-to-toe finally at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London, England, this Saturday evening. The most important weekend for boxing in the month of September is just a few days away. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London this Saturday will host the heavyweight showdown between World Boxing Association super champion Anthony Joshua and challenger Alexander Usyk. They will be disputing the IBF, IBO, and WBO championships by Joshua, who has a very interesting challenge ahead. The 31-year-old Brit will be making the second defense of his crown since winning the title in December 2019. Joshua previously had a 3-defense reign for 2 years until he lost by knockout to Andy Ruiz in June 2019. At the end of that year, he regained his belts and retained them in December 2020 against Kubrat Pulev. Now he will have a very different challenge in Ukrainian Usyk, the 2012 London Olympic champion and former undisputed cruiserweight monarch. The heavyweight division was shocked when Usyk announced he would move up to the top division. The arrival of such a quality fighter would add a lot of interest to a division that was already quite interesting. The 34-year-old southpaw has made 2 fights in the division and has now earned the opportunity to challenge the world champion in a bout that looks very even on paper. London will be dressed to the nines during the week, and various activities will take place as part of the promotion of the fight. Joshua has 24 wins, 1 loss, and 22 knockouts, while Usyk is undefeated in 18 fights, 13 of them by stoppage. As I said to Christian earlier on in our nooner show, my money's on Joshua, but that's going to be a good fight, toe-to-toe, and I'm sure, like you, very curious to see how Usyk, if he's able to get inside, fares against Joshua. In other related news, in a somewhat of a heavyweight newsworthy item, sort of, Riddick Bowe is going toe-to-toe against Lamar Odom. I will just quote this article. After the recent Evander Holyfield farce, the next former champ to be wheeled out of boxing's graveyard is 53-year-old Riddick Bowe, courtesy of Official Celebrity Boxing. Riddick Bowe, 6'3" and 53 years old, reigned as the undisputed world heavyweight champion in 1992. The same year, he is revered for his knockout of Evander Holyfield. October 2nd will be his first time in the boxing ring since 2008. He faces 2 times NBA champ and reality star Lamar Odom. Odom, who is 6'10" and 41 years old, is known for his time with the Los Angeles Lakers, as well as his reality TV stardom on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Lamar Odom took on singer-actor Aaron Carter in Atlantic City, New Jersey this past June, where he claimed the official celebrity boxing belt and will now defend his title October 2nd at the James L. Knight Center against Riddick Bowe. I'm not even going to mention the undercard. And in the last story of the day, let's talk about Manny Pacquiao, one of my favorite fighters. He has announced his candidacy for the presidency of the Philippines. The former WBA champion made his decision known at a political rally with several of his supporters. I'll bet. Pacquiao has had one of the most spectacular careers in boxing history and has won much affection around the world. For many years, he has been seen to be interested in helping people and has placed a special emphasis on his people in the Philippines. The world has witnessed how Pacquiao has transcended beyond sport and become a figure of hope for his people, so the news of his 2022 bid has been met with much positivity in the Asian country. Quote, "Throughout my life, I've never backed down in a fight for the principles, for the honor of the people. I have stood up, I have stood and fought. It is time for the oppressed to win. It's time for our people who have fallen into poverty to recover." And he said that during this meeting in Quezon City. The WBA is proud that sports leaders are able to excel in different areas and become more and more integral. Pacquiao has always been an example inside the ring, and we hope that his political career continued to grow in favor of the people. More power to the people. And that concludes our stories for today. Thank you for joining me on Talk and Fight. Remember to like, share, and subscribe our channel, and hit that notification bells whenever you see it. And we'll see you tomorrow.